Hello everyone, so I have Mr. Atticus here, and he is just in his little Santa outfit. It says, "Dear Santa, I've been so good." It's with his cute little stripy pants, and it has a little Santa on the butt too, which is adorable. However, this video isn't really completely about Atticus, I know, but he is going to be my little helper today, and we are going to be helping all the newbies today. So lately, I've been getting a lot of questions from people who are just finding out about the community or getting interested in the community. And they tend to ask a lot of questions like, where do you get your dolls? How do you find a good reborn? Could you help me get a doll that you think I would like? Or do you know like a good artist? Do you know how to get a doll for a good price? And I absolutely love answering questions to newbies because I remember when I was first getting into this hobby, and I had a ton of questions, and there wasn't really a whole lot of people around to help me answer those questions. So I definitely kind of just lived and learned and figured out my own process on how to find a really good reborn that I know that I will enjoy. And today I just wanted to share my process with you guys. So it is a very simple 5-step process, and like I said, this video is mostly for newbies who are trying to find a good first doll for them. But this video could also be for people who have been in the community for a little while, and you can kind of compare your way of finding a good reborn to mine. And if you have a different way to find a really good reborn than my way, then I would love to see comments saying different ways that you could do this. So let's jump into the... Alright, so the very first step in finding the perfect reborn for you is creating your own budget. This is a very important step because most of the time people are not going to pay for your reborn for you, so you need to save up the money to do so. My very first reborn I got when I was like 13 years old, I believe, and I saved up all my money with Christmas money and chores. This is just kind of like a little simulation thing. And reborns cost anywhere from $150 to about $15,000. So you are just going to have to find a reborn somewhere in between there. You're probably not going to get any lower. So I kind of made up a couple different things that you could get money from. So let's just say I did a little bit of babysitting and I got $100 from doing that. And I got a ton of money over Christmas time because I have really great grandparents that got me $170 total. And then let's just say I also did some chores for my mom and she gave me 50 bucks. And I also shoveled my neighbor's driveway, so that was about 20. So when you add that all up, your total would be $340. And that gives you a pretty good price for a reborn. You could find a lot of different reborns in that price range, but let's just say you also want to get some clothes and some accessories for your doll. So let's just say that you subtract 40 bucks from that, and that is for your doll's clothes and everything like that. Sorry, my handwriting is really bad when I write fast. So let's just say that now you have $300 to spend. So when you first get into the community, it seems like there are so many different options of reborns and there's so many choices. And I hope that this sheet will kind of help you guys narrow it down and focus on what you want. Because if you don't have any focus and you see all the options and you're kind of just all over the place and you don't really know where to get, you don't really know where to start. And the less preferences you have, the more it kind of makes it easier for you to find a doll in your range, but it's also extremely important to find a doll that you're going to love. Because of course, price doesn't really matter if you're not going to enjoy the doll. So, the first option that you have when picking out a reborn are skin tones, and I kind of left that like a little bit of a blank area because there's just so many different types of skin tones out there. My personal favorite for dolls are more of like a pink or red kind of skin tone because as you guys can tell, my skin is very pinkish reddish. So that's just my personal preference. But second option is for reborns. They have bald babies which have absolutely no hair. painted hair, which is painted on and you can kind of tell because it's flat up against the head, or they have rooted, which is where they take hair, and usually rooted dolls are more expensive because it takes a really long time to push all the tiny bits of hair into the head with a needle. My personal favorite is either painted or rooted, but I usually go with rooted because I absolutely love styling my doll's hair. Another thing with hair that you can pick is the color, and there's all sorts of different shades of colors out there. And I honestly like all different types of colors, so that one doesn't really matter to me. So for the ones that don't really matter, I'll just do like a little star thing by them. So that's quick and easy. Next thing you have to pick is sizes. And there's lots of different sizes of Reborns out there too because there are so many different types of kits. So the most popular types of dolls are usually preemie or newborn size, which are small, but there's also medium-sized dolls, which are about 3 to 6 month size, and then there's large, which is 6+. Usually large dolls are toddlers, and those are a lot of fun, but those, just cautionary, are a little bit more expensive. I really enjoy shopping for smaller dolls. All the dolls I have right now are a newborn size, so that is definitely my preference. Next thing that you could pick are eyes. So there are sleeping and awake babies. Both are good for different things. Obviously awake, they look a little bit more interactive with you, but sleeping are a little bit more fun to take out. So that one also doesn't really matter to me because I like all sorts of different ones. And then for eyes, you also have to pick out colors, and for me, it kind of just depends on what size the doll is or what the doll looks like on what colors I like, so that one also doesn't really matter to me. Another good thing to look at when you're looking at dolls is to see if they have any magnets. If there is anyone in your family who likes holding the doll, or if you do have a pacemaker, do not get dolls with magnets. That's a bad idea. But a lot of artists, even if they don't add magnets for pacifiers or for bows, you can usually ask them to add one, and if you're polite about it, they usually will help you out with that. So I usually do like babies with magnets. Hair bows are fun to have magnets with. Kaylee has that. And I also like doing the magnetic pacifiers because that's just fun. Next thing you want to decide is you kind of want to look at the doll that you pick and see if you want them to be a boy or a girl, because some kits definitely look more like a boy and some look more like a girl in my personal opinion. For me, this doesn't really matter. I used to really prefer girls, but now I'm kind of enjoying shopping for boy stuff too. And neutral kind of just means that you can continue changing your doll's gender. They aren't just like specifically a boy or a girl. I know one person who shop for both boy and girl clothes for their doll, and they kind of just switch them every day, and that is totally fine too. Alright, so now it is actually time to find your Reborn doll, and I think the easiest way to do this is to search on eBay. Obviously there's many other options, but I think this one is the most simple. So just search Reborn dolls, and then you go to the refine button, so you can put your price cap on there. I did 100 to 300, 100 just so that we didn't get any doll kits or really cheap China items, and then 300 was our max. And with that, you can find a lot of really cute different options. The first cute option that I found, he did have painted hair, so I did decide to keep looking, but he is adorable. Next one I found was $300, but then shipping was extra, so that's a little bit over my budget, but I might go back to that one. The next one I found was absolutely perfect. I adore this little girl, so I decided to look further into her details. The next step is doing research on the doll, which is the most important step. So I read through the whole entire description on eBay, and I found out that she is a newborn size, she has beautifully rooted hair, she has magnets, and she is a lovely pinkish tone. I also searched up her kit on Google just to make sure that I like different variations of the kit, because sometimes you might not like the kit and you don't know that until it gets there. I also looked into the artist, and I found out that she had been painting since 2008, which is really good. That means she has a lot of experience. And her reviews on eBay were extremely good, which is all great. After doing all this research, I now know that this is a good doll to buy. So your very last step is actually bidding for the doll you want. This can take a little bit of time because you do need to set up an account with both eBay and PayPal. Once you do that, my very last tip for you guys is to wait until the very last day of bidding, because usually people have bidding days for about 5 days. This little girl, I think, had 3 days left. And on the very last day, if it's still a decent price, then set your bid and hopefully you win the doll. I hope this video was helpful for all the newbies out there, and I hope that all of you really enjoy yourselves in this hobby.